are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tony Kong.
And we're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your two hosts, Bruce over here, the Tone Capone over there, and we have a fantastic show again for you guys this week. This week we are going to be checking out the psychedelic doom trio Heavy Temple, their latest release, Garden of Heathens, and also the debut album from singer-songwriter, Hall of Famer John Prine, his debut album. So we've got a little bit of music news, and I'm sure some other stuff's going to come up along the way. Before we get into any of that, the people want to know, Tone, how are you?
Good evening. It's good to be back into the swing of things. I think we're third episode in for this season. Just want to give everybody a heads up. We are aware that you may not be seeing some of our stuff over on Spotify and all that other good stuff just yet. We're making some moves to get all that audio uploaded to those other places that will be coming soon. But for now, you can always download us here at YouTube. You know, YouTube is what we thrive on. We enjoy doing the show and being virtually active over here. Other than that, it's coming. We'll see what we get it done. I'll let you know as soon as possible. Bruce,
Yes.
some dude stopped by my house this weekend and slept on my freaking couch.
But did he pee on your rug? Did he
I
pee
don't
on your
know, man.
fucking rug?
About midnight, he said something about going to bed, and I think there's a possibility he may have upstairs.
I can neither confirm nor deny any of these horrible allegations from you. But yes, 'twas me. I was able to make a visit to good old C-Bus, hang out with Mom, hang out with you, and it was great seeing you.
Yeah, always, man. I thought it was really cool that you and I sat down and I'll segue to our next section as far as what were you listening to? Well, what were we listening to was more like it.
Yeah.
We actually hung out for a good portion of the evening, went and grabbed dinner at Trace Petrillo's, had a wonderful dinner there. Come back home, drank a few brewskis, sat down and listened to one side of the Alice Cooper Raise Your Fist and Yell album. Fantastic cut. And then another half of an album we listened to, Dr. Hook Sloppy Seconds.
Yeah.
And then we sat down and continued to polish off our final beer with a viewing of Monster Magnet live, man. And
Yeah.
that was a really good night, man.
Yeah, dude.
You got a good dose of Magnet that night, man.
I did. I was pleasantly surprised that they
Mhm.
didn't suck live. 'Cause that's always my big fear. These guys that sound really good in studio,
Yeah.
like they absolutely shit the bed live. And so I'm like,
Well, the crazy thing is like what I know with Dave is like there's always the element that in the past that he could have been a little messed up or something to that degree or whatever. But I don't think he's ever not nailed it, man. Like he takes some liberties during the songs like any artist should, but it doesn't take away from the actual structure and timing of the song. That's when I get mad with artists when they've restructured it and you can't even sing along to it, especially if it's a great, you know what I'm talking about. You
yeah.
get there, you're trying to sing along to it. They've thrown it off by a few measures or something. And I'll tell you what, Dave doesn't miss, man. And to this day, still a dream concert for me. I'd love to see Magnet any day of the week, man. So
It could happen.
I would drive 2 states over to go see Magnet.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that'd be a cool show to see for sure. Also, check this out, everyone. Compliments of the chef over there. Really cool kiss hat. Plus, look at that little
Under the bill.
Under the bill. That's
Yeah.
cool stuff. So thank you, my friend.
You're welcome,
It's
man.
very comfortable.
When it starts getting to be a little worn in, just flip that bill up
No.
like a suicidal hat.
Yeah.
Come
That's
on.
yeah. I'm
I'd
going to
still
do
rock
that.
a suicidal hat like that.
I never did.
I would. I would all day long. If I had a suicidal hat, I would rock it like that all day long.
Yeah.
That's the only way to wear it. Anyways,
Yes.
what are you drinking this evening? Because I see you
Well,
got a beer in your hand.
I do. I've got a Japanese style rice lager from Zool Beer. It's called Kaiju. Look at that.
That's pretty wicked, man.
Dude, it's cool.
What's the
And
alcohol content on that bad boy?
it is 4.5.
So it's an easy drinker.
Yeah, easy drinker. And I believe Zool is based out here in Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right. Let's see
All
what
right.
she's about.
Here we go.
One chug, everybody knows the rules.
That was really good. It's very, very light and refreshing. It's got an undertone of like orange. Just
Okay.
a slight undertone of orange or some sort of citrus. That's good.
Good.
Yeah, I'll give this a 5.
Really?
That's really good.
Usually beers with a bunch of rice content in it don't do it for me, dude.
I can't
You know who
taste
else?
the rice.
You know who filters their beer through rice? Budweiser. That's why my buddy Sean would always get headaches when he drank them because he's allergic to rice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. No, this is I don't know. This don't taste like no Budweiser. So brought to you by Zool, Knoxville, Tennessee. Check it out.
Nice. Now, I may have reviewed this beer before, but it is getting to be that time of year. And you may even see this come up in another episode before the end of fall. This is one of my top 5 beers of all time. Hands down, one of my favorites. I will give it a 5 every time. I look forward to its release, and I just so happen to be lucky enough to walk into Kroger's today and find the Nosferatu
Nice.
double red India Pale Ale. And if you have not had
Great
this
Lakes, right?
from Great Lakes, dude, and if you have not had this bad boy, double red IPA, no playing, sink your teeth into a rich, roasty red double IPA with a frightfully delectable hop bite. 8.0.
That's a little meaty.
Excuse me one second.
Excuse me while I chug this down.
Fuck yeah, that's a 5.
Nice.
That's a 5 all day long. But I love IPAs. I love double IPAs. I love strong content IPAs. But this right here, I got turned on to. You remember the early days of Suspect Earth when Vinny was with us?
Yeah.
Vinny turned me on to this.
Okay.
And it's stayed in the staple. It's one of the yearly releases I look forward to every year. Some of the releases that were yearly releases, annual releases, or whatever, I don't see them as much anymore. I miss the big bottles of Stone stouts and stuff that I would be able to find, but I'm also not in the areas where I used to pick those up all the time.
Yeah.
I do, however, I love a good IPA, man. I've never not liked it. Because I'll tell you, funny thing was, is Vinny showed me IPAs, and that's what I was looking for in beer. I drank what I thought was a little bit stronger old school Michelob for the longest time until they took it off the shelf. And I could drink malt liquor. Old E was an ice cold Old E. Still to this day, I'll put one down. Dude, it's, trust me.
I get it. I don't.
Ice cold, man. We had this drive through up the road on Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
I could pull in there. They used to have big 40s of them, dude. I'd get that sucker home. It'd still be ice cold. I could kill that fucker in about 20 minutes. Boom to the face. Was in there like fucking swimwear. But either way, Nosferatu from Great Lakes. This is a staple in my run every year. 5.0.
Salute.
Salute, brother.
All right.
All right. You got some news for us, man?
I do. I did hear. I didn't hear it. I read a headline that supposedly Dave Grohl's wife is in talks of making a book. Well, that ought to be fun. I'm sure nothing bad can come from that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How people think that they can profit off their misery. That's
People do it all the time, man.
strange. Anyways, it's not for me to judge, I guess.
I guess. Hey, we got some birthdays today, and we are recording, by the way, everyone, on September 24th. And there was a lot of really cool albums that was released on this day. And I'm going to tell you about them here in a minute. First, some birthdays. Blind Lemon Jefferson. I know you don't know who that is, but
I've heard of him.
He is notably known as the king or the godfather of Texas blues. So he was one of the most popular blues singers in the 20s, and he was born today in 1894. Pretty wild.
Okay.
Let's see. Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney's first wife, also Wings. She was born today in 1941. And here we go to some really cool albums. Nevermind by Nirvana, your favorite. It was released today in 1991. Great album. Fantastic album.
No.
The Rolling Stones' fourth American studio album, Out of Our Heads, was released today in 1965. Blood Sugar Sex Magic by the Chili Peppers and was released today in 1991. I believe that was the first album that Rick Rubin produced for them, I think, if I'm remembering right. For the longest time, that was my favorite Chili Peppers album. And then One Hot Minute came along, and the rest is history.
Okay.
Let's see. Also released today in 1991. Wow. Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger. So all in the same day, Bad Motorfinger, and the same year, Bad Motorfinger, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and Nirvana's Nevermind.
What a huge year for music.
Just what a huge fucking day in music. But let him look, yeah, that's wild.
Well, you got to think of what else was coming out around that time, man. I wasn't that what year was that?
91. 91.
What year was And Justice released?
Justice was 88, 90.
Maybe. I don't know, man. That was a pretty big year for music if those three albums dropped during that time, because I can remember a lot of stuff that was out around that time. That's got to be a huge year for music. There had to be some other major releases.
Oh yeah, 91 for sure. But just on that day,
yeah,
that's
Well, one more thing.
Classics.
One more thing I'd like to bring up in the news that I think is an interesting piece. First things first, Diddy is in some shit.
Oh, yes. How could we have forgot about Diddy?
How could we forget about that guy? That dude is in some shit.
Yeah, and I think it's funny how all of a sudden, now that he's actually arrested, all these videos are coming out of, people have been telling people about these fucking parties.
Well, dude, it's like R. Kelly. Everybody knew R. Kelly was fucking with these kids, and then all of a sudden now somebody wants to fucking do something about it.
Yep.
It's been cool till now, and
Yep.
everybody who don't think it's fucking that's why I don't listen to the dude.
Because he can't help them anymore. So once he becomes disposable, they'll let all the tea go instead of, actually speaking out you know, when you should have, when there was something to lose.
It's crazy to see all these people that are popping up because everybody's throwing out accusations of pictures with everybody with Diddy and shit, and all the people that were involved and loved to be around Diddy and how he had some influence in hanging out with presidents and shit and former presidents and shit. Oh man, this is not. This is what worries me. How long have we known about the Epstein client list's existence?
We knew that Epstein was bad news for at least 25 years.
But not until, I mean, like, as far as the world was made aware, we've arrested this guy. Not everybody in the world was aware of who Jeffrey Epstein was up to that point. So we hit a point. The guy is caught. The guy is taken to facilities. The guy is then no longer a guy. So how long since that time have we known that there's this list? And there are certain individuals on it that would probably,
Yeah.
it would probably be. Now, how long have we known that?
At least 5 years.
Give me a second. Let me take this up. And I'm not trying to get too stupid with this.
But I will guarantee you, though, Diddy's list is going to come out way before Epstein's, and that's probably because Epstein was an FBI informant. We can't have that being known. But I digress.
2019 is when he died.
Okay.
They had him in custody. It couldn't have been much longer after that. He was gone. So we're looking at 2020.
5 years.
5 years. And we still have no confirmation of who all was on that list. They haven't released that information to the public yet.
And they won't.
And you know how I feel about all this. Now we get this into this thing with Diddy and all the people on that side of things and how it's possibly intertwined itself with some of this possible Epstein client list. What do you think is going to happen?
I think it's a real possibility that Diddy Epstein's himself.
I think a lot of people feel that way. But could you imagine the empires that may crumble if anything happens?
Nah.
Have you ever watched any stuff with a lady by the name of Jaguar Wright?
No.
I
never heard of it.
Do you still have your talk active?
My who?
Your TikTok active?
Yes.
Do me a favor. I'm going to send you over some quick clips of her when I get a chance. Next time I see a few of them pop up,
Yeah.
I'm going to send you over. Just kind of familiarize yourself with this lady because she is a lady who was taken underneath fucking Cat Williams' wings many years ago and pulled away from this side of the business. And she's been saying for years, a lot of this shit's been going on.
Yeah.
And now all this shit can get ready to come to light. But will it ever see daylight is the $1 million question.
I think we got a better shot at Diddy's coming out than Epstein's.
What a crazy time we live in.
Oh, I know.
Yep. And let me just state for the record that I've never been a Diddy fan. I did like Notorious B.I.G. I thought he was a very wonderful, wonderful talent. There were probably a couple other folks on Bad Boy that I probably dig as well. However, Diddy, I was never a fan of. I never bought an album. He was not my guy. You know, he had the one song that he did with Faith Evans that was
The Sting sampling,
the
heavy
sampling.
sampling.
Yeah, just it came, it went, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy is obviously not a good dude. So with that said, that is the news.
I love it. Hey, real quick, before we get into this week's episode, I did want to share a couple little comments that Slim had regarding our episode from last week. She gave us a Cranberries album and the Kate Bush album.
Right.
By the way, if you guys haven't heard that review, go ahead and take a listen to that. Of course, after you listen to us this week. Anyway, she was kind of messaging me as it was going on. And hold on. She says, OMG, I am listening to the reviews. I'm cackling. Good shit.
That's awesome.
Then she also said, Tone hates all my favorite songs.
I didn't hate it. Well, I mean, if you like the ones I didn't like, I mean, that's sometimes goes that way. Sometimes goes that way.
No, but she loved our episode on it, and yeah, we can't thank her enough for all her time, and then those two albums. It was a fun time.
Good deal. Good deal.
Absolutely.
It was. What, and you know what? I'm not going to enjoy everything. You know,
no.
If we enjoyed everything, this would be a very boring show.
Oh yeah, trust me. Wait till you get to my review.
Are you serial, man?
We're gonna find out.
You're such a.
We are gonna find out.
All right. Well, with that being said, I guess we can go ahead and get into these reviews, and you're up first because I was up first last week.
You're correct, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had Heavy Temple's latest album, Garden of Heathens. If you look right there, some really cool artwork. They really outdo themselves. I guess they take a lot of inspiration from the Dark Towers and things like that. So, real simple CD packaging that they have. Tony, did you happen to check out, like, was there any cool particulars on the vinyl packaging that you have?
No, I think there's just pretty much a picture kind of like what you've got in there. And then there's the inlay that I think has the lyrical content as well.
Okay.
So
good deal.
Not much different other than mine signed, and I think your CD didn't get signed, but you got the poster signed.
Correct. All right. This bad boy was released April 12th of this year to 2024. It's got 8 songs, about 45 minutes. Pretty standard fare for a good Doom album. Like I said earlier in the intro, they are kind of described as psychedelic Doom. So I didn't notice a whole lot of psychedelia on this album. But there were some absolutely tasty riffs on here.
So before we go any further on that, I think it's a little appropriate to put them. The psychedelic Doom thing makes sense. It does. However, she really does come from a really funky, bluesy style way of playing. And I think that she writes a lot of the material, if not all of the material. And with that being said, I know that she's heavily influenced by some pretty heavy hitters when it comes to the bass. You know what I mean? Because you could just see it in her playing and hear it in the stuff that they do. And I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. So real quick, when did you first get into them?
So you're very familiar with Dorothea Cottrell because you like her solo stuff. I don't think I've given you a Windhand album yet.
Probably not.
Okay, which is her doom metal band. Okay,
Mhm.
often going down that rabbit hole, you'll find people saying, "Hey, can you reference a band that's kind of like this or this?" So the topic come up of discussion of the great bands that were, of that style or similar to that style that are fronted by female vocalists. Heavy Temple came up. Um, Ruby the Hatchet, who you've gotten to review, came up, and I think you thought they were really, really cool too. And they're more along the psychedelic side of things too. That's why I kind of wanted to turn you onto this album.
Okay.
But with that being said, just diving down that rabbit hole a couple years ago, man, and it was just like it was it was something else, dude.
Yeah. So
Something else.
was your first introduction that Loopy Morris album, or was it the
Lupi Amore.
EPs? Yeah.
Yeah, Lupi Amore. And then once I listened to the whole album, I was just like, okay, so I would go over to their Bandcamp and I would listen to everything because a lot of stuff you can listen to for free over there. And then I realized I loved all of it, so I just bought all of it. I own everything from those guys digitally.
Okay. Very cool.
So
Very cool. All right. So let's get into it, shall we? The first song on here is Extreme Indifference to Life. I gave this a B. It's a
what?
Yep.
You're
It's a
fired.
good It's a good opener. It's a solid riff. I think the thing that really um sealed the deal for me as far as liking the song was that blistering solo at the end of the song. I think there's maybe like a minute, 2 minutes left, and that guitar solo just fucking kicked in and really saved this song.
Right.
Um, so it wasn't bad. It's not skippable, but it was like, okay, it's good. Next up was oh boy, I can't read my own writing. High Wraith. This is by far the worst song on this album.
Oh man, you're killing me, dude.
The worst fucking song. There's a line in the chorus that says, "Take it or leave it." I'm going to leave this. This is absolutely skippable track to me. I, you know,
Man,
I give it a
I
C.
did not expect that coming off of listening to the first album, the rating you gave the first album.
This thing, it sounded like a demo. The mix was not great on this song. There was something off on it. Her vocals weren't. It just wasn't a good song. It just didn't sound. It didn't to me. It didn't mesh with the rest of the album. So
Oh man, that's brutal.
I'm 2 songs in. I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. Next up was Divine Indiscretion. A fucking plus. This might be my favorite track on the album.
I think it's mine too.
This song, about 2 minutes in, let me say this. Through a lot of the songs on this album, they do some tempo switches that really kick it in a high gear. And about 2 minutes into this fucking thing, they kick it into high gear, and fuck. About at the 3 minute 19-second mark, fantastic riff that comes in through there. I mean, just killing it. I God, there's not enough I can say great about this song. A plus all day long. Let's see, House of Worship, not worship, warship. I gave this a B plus. Fantastic guitar work. And another great tempo change at the 3 minute 30-second mark. Lyrically, now unfortunately, because the way my hearing is, and with as much echo that she's put on her voice pretty much on all this album. I can't pick out lyrics for anything. So
That's how it is with some Monolord stuff, man. Just
yeah,
because the way that vocals just kind of lay in the background is like this distant echo. Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. That's common in Doom, though, dude.
yeah. What do you think, you personally, do you think if there was less echo and her voice was out there more, do you think that would be better? Not just on this song, but just on this album in general.
Honestly, no, because like it'd be like asking to change the vocal tone for um or anything vocally in regards to Thomas's stuff on Monolord. His
Mm-hmm.
vocals just lay back in there. They're meant to sound kind of distance. Like Conan does the same too, but it sounds like they're screaming from the top of a fucking mountain. You know what I mean? So I get it. And it's not, and certain vocal things aren't for everybody. I get it. You don't like the Cookie Monster stuff a lot of times,
Right.
but you're also not one to sit there and take the Cookie Monster stuff and care enough to go look at the lyrics. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, um, I get it. I personally on this album, I guess I would say maybe there were a couple points I wish her vocals were just a little more standout, but getting to see them live, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, their live show is something else too, dude. I mean, if the album rates, say a solid 8, I think it's fair enough to go say it's worth checking out live. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's how I feel about a lot of music.
Yeah.
But I've also seen bands that I've listened to and all I've heard from was on the radio, and it would take me seeing them live to actually appreciate them. Cradle of Filth being one of them. Who was another fucking major one? Slipknot. Oh man, it took seeing those dudes live to even gain an appreciation for them. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So I gave House of Worship a B plus. Again, the fucking I cannot say enough about. I'll get to it later. I'll get to it later. House of Worship B plus. Next up, Snake Oil and Other Remedies. This is a solid A. This is a great jam song, and again, very just go, 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 go. And I really appreciated the shit out of this song. Um, again, I still like oh shit. I can't read my own writing. Divine Indiscretion a lot better. Not a lot better. That's over dramatic, but I definitely like it better than Snake Oil and Other Remedies. But man, it's a really good song.
Okay.
Great song. Um, in the Garden of Heathens, nice little instrumental there, little acoustic stuff. I gave it a B plus. It served its purpose. It's not a standout track. And it reminded me a lot of Laguna Sunrise by Sabbath.
Okay.
It had that Laguna Sunrise feel to me. Um, and it's a great intro into Jesus Wept, which is the next song, and that's a solid A.
Yeah.
That was so good. I can imagine Jesus Wept being the opener as far as a live show. I can see kind of like as the band's getting on stage, a part of the in the Garden of Heathens kind of playing in the background, ramping everything up, and then just immediately going into Jesus Wept. I think that would be a great live show opener.
Yeah.
Fantastic riff again. And then finally, the last song, song number 8, Psychomantium. A plus, and this is tied for my favorite song on this album.
Yeah.
Fantastic closer, great instrumental, fucking top to bottom. This had a bit of a Megadeth feel to it, and I love the shit out of this song. Um, this could have been an opener. This could have been a closer. Wherever you put this song, it just fucking kills.
So you think if they opened up with Garden of Heathens, went into
Jesus Wept?
Jesus Wept, and then closed the album off with
yeah, album wise or live show.
And then right in the middle of the album put the Indiscretion track.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. Interesting.
That would definitely keep me engaged for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did I put in here? Just blistering instrumental, great closer. I did want to point out that the High Priestess Nighthawk, she's a really talented singer.
Yeah.
And this is certainly not a knock, but her vocals are secondary, or her secondary talent on this album.
Mm-hmm.
Her bass lines and her songwriting, the way she structures a song is just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Where if this album was just instrumentals,
it'd stand on its own.
It'd stand on its own.
It'd stand on its own. Yeah.
And I think I did kind of notice that a lot of her vocals, she didn't do a lot of vocal work on here. It's usually just up at the front, and then there's a huge instrumental end to each one of these songs.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that she is secure enough in her her other abilities where her voice doesn't have to be the focal point.
Yeah.
Because fuck, I'm telling you, her bass lines, there is some chemistry there between her and that drummer.
Well,
Baron Lycan.
Something to say about this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she's been through a lot of member changes.
Mm-hmm.
And even the guys that are on that album weren't on this tour.
Both of them weren't?
Both gone. And her and I had a really in-depth conversation about that, man. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I would love nothing more than to get her onto the show and talk more with her. She was a very intriguing person, as well as the guys that were on the tour. But because she's been through so many member changes, it makes me wonder, are those guys even going to be there? Because to me, it seems like she's doing all the work of writing these albums and putting all the effort of all the publications and everything, because that's where it's all. She's told me this.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation that she's worked very hard on creating this brand. And it's just hard to keep people on board because, people have families and people have other lives. And, when you're trying to get something up and off the ground, dude, she played at the Ace of Cups and probably in front of 50 to 70 people. I seen the guys from Fire Breather play in front of 20, 30 people, as well as the folks from The Well on that show.
Yeah. The songs and the players deserve more of an audience than that. Fuck,
dude. So get this. So hear me out and hear me now, believe me later. And I don't mean to interrupt your review. I'm just being honest with you. So I go to about three primary places for Doom shows. I go to the Ace of Cups here in Columbus. They're the only ones that really get a lot. Okay. Now I've been to the King of Clubs to see Crowbar, and I've been in there to see High on Fire. I seen Doyle there, which is not really Doom, but it's kind of heavier shit and stuff and whatnot. And let me tell you something, for an ex-member of the Misfits out on tour on his own, the place was not as packed as I expected it to be, number one. Number two, went and seen Crowbar. For as much as Crowbar is respected in the field, and I know they've sold out the Alrosa Villa, there was nowhere near that crowd size when I saw them. I think Scott was even with me when we saw them at the King of Clubs. Now, by way of comparison, I drive to Cleveland to go to a place called the Grog Shop. This place,
Mhm.
9 times out of, like every time I've been there to see a Doom show, it's a small venue, but it's always packed asses to elbows out the fucking door.
Yep.
And there's a scene there. There's a real scene there, and that's where they know they can sell and play and great. And the venue's hot. It's small. It's sticky. They sell a lot of beer, and people sweat, and it's just raw. You know what I mean? But when I saw High on Fire on Monday last week or the week before, it blew my mind that the place was as packed as it was. Blew my mind. Because the grog shop, I don't think holds nearly as much as the King of Clubs. But it blew my mind. I was stunned. I was happy. I was actually very happy for the guys from High on Fire to be able to come to Columbus and play a bigger show like that.
Yeah.
Bigger than what the grog shop was. Now, with that being said, I saw Bong Ripper that following like Thursday or Friday, and shows that the Ace of Cups are hit or miss, man. There could be 20 to 30 people standing, 50 people standing in the crowd, and sometimes it could be out the fucking door, out the back. Bong Ripper was that way. There was a lot of people there for Bong Ripper, dude.
Yeah.
But they don't come around often. You know what I mean? They're just not a band that comes around often. Funny
Yeah.
thing is, I may be visiting their hometown here in next October.
There you go. All right. Well, like I said, all in all, I think this is a really solid album. Again, Doom is not my go-to, but there was a lot of really kick-ass jams on here. Um, I was teetering because those first 2 songs were just.
Do you think if
Okay.
they were do you think if they were placed in different areas on the album, they could have fared up a little better?
I I think I think I don't think there's any hope for High Wraith.
Really?
I really do not like that song.
Okay.
I tried. I've listened to this album probably 7 or 8 times. Never catched.
Just couldn't get into it. Huh?
Nope. Nope. Uh, I'll wrap this up. I think I'm gonna give this an 8. I'm gonna give it
Okay.
an 8. I would definitely, like, if they came through town, I would definitely go see them
Oh yeah.
for sure. And I'm really looking forward to seeing uh, what else they put out music wise, because there were some really tasty jams on here for sure.
And you like Lupus Amori too, dude. If
Yeah,
you ever get the chance, man, you got to check out their cover of fucking Parliament's fucking Hit It and Quit It.
I think you did show
Or
me that.
Funkadelics Hit It and Quit It, dude.
Yep,
Man,
yep.
it is amazing, dude. One of the coolest covers I've ever heard in my entire life. There's a series of covers that they've done. There's many different ones. But you got to check. You got to just go over to Bandcamp. I think the majority of their shit's over there. Go check it out, man. I own everything. Like if I like the band enough, I'll own it digitally. And if I'm at the show, maybe I'll buy the album. I almost bought a Bong Ripper album, but I ended up buying a shirt for my brother so that he could have one. So
There you go. Cool.
you,
Solid 8 for me. Good stuff.
you
Thanks.
hear the man, an 8 on Heavy Temple's Garden of Heathens. It's a solid 9.5 for me.
Okay, I get that.
I love that album. I absolutely love that album. With that being said, Bruce gave me last week John Prine's debut album, John Prine. I'm going to start off with a little preface of information here. Singer-songwriter material in this album, sad and real Americana. This is not for everybody. This album gets very heavy at times. I want to mention something, and I'm going to get there, but let me just go ahead and go down the track listing here. We have track number 1, which is Illegal Smile. I gave this a solid A, very tongue in cheek, very Americana, dug it. Track 2, Spanish Pipe Dream. I gave this one an A as well. And the reason why I gave this is because, man, if you listen to the words and just what's being said in this song, man, it's really the American dream. You know, it's you know, um, and it encompasses all kinds of stuff. Like you know, just it touches base on all kinds of stuff in regards to the American dream, and I think it's really cool. Um, Song number 3, Hello in There. I gave this a B. This starts the beginning of a trend on this album. And the reason why I gave this a B is, man, it's somewhat depressing.
Which one?
Hello in There.
You gave that a B?
I gave it a B, dude. It's somewhat it's just somewhat depressing, man. We get to Sam Stone. You've showed me this song before, and I don't think I was a major, I don't think I really took it in, but I did take it in here, and I gave it an E. I gave it an A.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say
I gave it an
E
E.
is really bad.
I know I gave it an A. It's deep, and it's a very depressing side of Americana. It's it's very real. One of the things I really like to say about John Prine, man, is he really knows how to paint a picture. Like you could tell that this guy is a storyteller through and through, and you have to ask yourself, listening to the words that he's speaking, are these his real life experiences? Because man, that's just fucking rough, man. Um, Track number 5, Paradise. I gave an A. Thought it was a really good story. Dug it. Track number 6, Pretty Good, is the name of the track. Pretty good. I gave this an A, and I said great tongue in cheek. That dog line.
Yeah. What a
The,
great line.
that is not. Listen, I wasn't expecting that. I actually had to look it up to make sure I was hearing what I was fucking hearing. And warning there, that is not for the weak of heart, if you can image that whole scenario. With that being said, moving on to track number 7, Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore. I gave this an A, and I really feel like it's relevant, especially in today's world. And I think that any country artist worth their weight in salt, or folk artists worth their weight in salt, should cover this now. Right fucking now. I think this could be as big as the turnover of who covered Tracy Chapman, Luke Bryan.
Yes.
As big as something like that. I think it could be as big as, I don't know if it'd be as big as Oliver Anthony's.
Probably not,
but this would be pretty big, man. I think if aired right, this is a great song for the time. Found it to be very relevant. Track number 8, Far From Me. I gave it a B. Once again, heavy, dark Americana. Let me get to that in a minute. 9, Angel from Montgomery. I gave this a B as well. Good song. This is the point of the album where the dark Americana, the sadness starts really wearing on me. And this is not my forte. Okay. It's very wearing. And I'm going to get to a funny point about that here in a minute. 10, Quiet Man. I gave this an A. And what really saved this song from just landing another B was there's a small snippet of a solo in this song. And I thought, wow, what a really cool guitar tone. Man, that kicks ass. And I said, you know what?
A lot of fuzz on that, isn't there?
There's something that's really kind of, it almost sounds like it's almost really fuzzed or distorted out. I really, 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 really like that. There might even be some echo or wave on there. It's fun. I thought it was really cool. And then this little snippets of it came throughout the rest of the song. And I thought, man, what a really cool thing there, especially for the time being 1971 and all. So really cool tone there. Track number 11, Donald and Lydia. This was one of the worst tracks on the album for me. I gave it a C. It's wearing me down, and I wrote not my favorite. That once again, this is a beat down on, like.
Do you know what they were talking about?
I do, man. And at the end of the day, I'm done. There's 13 tracks here. How many tracks you have? 8?
Mm-hmm. Same amount of time though.
About 45 minutes. But when you're beat down with this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the dog died, and the pet burnt down, and the shit,
No,
and the shit,
no
and the
dogs
shit.
died in the process
Listen,
of recording this album.
well, you know what I'm getting at.
Yes.
It just becomes repetitive, and it feels like a beat down, and talking about sad things, it just becomes wearing, man. So with that being said, that landed a C. Track number 12, 6 o'clock news. I gave this a B. It's okay. Not great, not bad. It's an okay song. Track number 13, Flashback Blues. I gave this a C as well. It felt lazy compared to the rest of the album, and it wasn't a great closer. My closing notes I want to say on this is this. I don't know why there's a bit of an upbeat here to the strumming. And there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek irony and depression. And I wrote, there's beauty in irony and suffering is what I got from this album.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, there was, still a bit of a, folky country Americana playing thing. And I'm okay with that. We've really, both you and I really like the Dorothea Cottrell albums.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think that she could take any one of these songs. And I think there was one that I really kind of had picked out. Sam Stone. I think I would love to hear Dorothea Cottrell cover Sam Stone.
Yeah.
And,
What
and,
did
and
you give that one again?
I gave it an A.
You gave Sam Stone an A. Okay.
Yeah, I gave it an A. Because I could sit here and I think that she could slow that down just about a half a step and really kind of do her vocal thing. God, she would murder that track, dude.
Yeah.
That's the only person I can think of that can sing that kind of pain in existence
Yeah.
like this guy did. You know what I'm saying? And looking at what I did with this album, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 13 songs got A's. We've got 1, 2, 3 B's. So for 10 songs that you can comfortably listen to, from my opinion, and 3 songs being I could do without, more or less, maybe 11, 12. There's 2 that got C's. Knowing that I'm probably not going to pick this album up again, but if I heard Sam Stone on the radio, I probably wouldn't change it. I don't know that I'd hear anything else on the radio if by chance.
Angel from Montgomery.
I didn't care for that one.
That's wild.
I think it got a C already.
Bonnie Raitt had a huge hit off that album. Or
And
off that song.
hey, man, listen, that's good and dandy, man. But you know what? Country
Yeah.
is not my thing. It's never really been my thing. I like very little of it compared to the rest of my vocabulary and music.
Mhm.
And I am going to give this album an you ain't gonna like us. You ain't gonna like us at all. You know what, man? I'll be a little more fair than that. because if we say only 2 tracks got a C, the rest were A's and B's are pretty listenable, but okay. I'll give it an 8.25.
That's good.
I'll give
That's
it an
good.
8. I'll give it an 8.25. Not really my thing. If I wanted to ding it hard, it was going to get a 7.75. But there was enough on there that if you gave me another album, I wouldn't be too upset about listening to it. Give me 1 second. We have a guest in the camera back here. Gizmo, what are you doing? Get your butt downstairs. God bless it. Gizmo, get downstairs.
I love it. You know, I will agree with you that Flashback
Chloe,
Blues.
get Gizmo. All right, go ahead.
I will agree with you that Flashback Blues is not a great song, and it's probably the weakest song on that album.
Horrible closer. Horrible closer.
Yeah. I've heard the demos. The demos were a little bit better. To your point where he was asking, you know, he did write a lot about his real life. So Paradise was all real life. Yes. Right. Sam Stone was about guys that he knew coming over because he was in the military, and you know, all those guys facing addiction and all that.
No, I get it. It's a very real album.
Yeah,
let me emphasize that it's a very real album, and it may be too real for some people.
We need more reality in this world.
I don't think this world can handle
reality. You know, I tell you, I think it's kind of funny that you felt that this album was maybe a little too depressing, but yet your go-to genre of music is doom. That's wild to me.
Well, this brings me back around to something I was going to say and didn't say.
Say it.
I don't know if I like the voice of a man in pain.
Interesting.
And it's not to be chauvinistic. Please don't take it that way. But I think that a woman can express pain vocally. I don't know, man. I think it has a lot to do with that woman scorn thing, dude. You know, I think a woman can really, like, come on, dude. Let's be honest, okay? I know John Prine means a lot to you, okay?
Yes.
And this album's a big deal, and I know it's a big deal for his fans, okay? Album was released in like 71 or something like that. So take that album and just pound for pound album, right? And compare that to that last Dorothea Cottrell album. They're both heavy hitters. They're both very, very painful albums. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pain in both of those albums, right? And a lot of realism in both of those albums. And both of them can really write a story very well. You know, can paint a picture very, very well. Pound for pound, they are both on par with each other. But vocally,
oh, no one has ever said that John Prine's a fantastic singer.
I mean, vocally, Dorothea, I don't want to say mops the floor with that dude, but
vocal, yeah, but it's completely different style, though. Yeah, it's not even comparable. It's not even comparable. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, there's folk, there's country. I mean, that can all be encompassing, dude.
Dude,
I mean,
I get it, like, but you can't compare Dorothea Cottrell to John Prine vocally. You're not comparing apples to apples.
So who did she cover that you were familiar with? And I wasn't.
I don't remember.
It was another one of those cats that sings some pretty sad stuff that you really get into.
Probably Townes Van Zandt.
I think it may have been Townes Van Zandt, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't compare Townes Van Zandt to John Prine?
From a songwriting perspective, yes, but not vocally.
Okay, but music style wise, she's the same way.
Okay.
And pound for pound, her vocals for me express just her delivery, dude. Her delivery of the message vocally is
I get that.
unmatched.
Sure.
All right. No disrespect to Prine, no disrespect to Van Zandt.
I'm just saying you can't compare the two because it's completely different.
But you can't say it's different styles of music. You can say it's different vocals. That's okay. But the music's still the same style: folk, country, Americana.
Okay.
Okay. When you go into the record store, folk, country, Americana is all in the fucking same section. And she fits the bill. Let's not discredit that.
Okay. So hold on. So are you saying that Dorothea Cottrell is better than John Prine?
In what department?
In
songwriting wise.
Yes.
I would say they're very on par with each other because they both paint a picture very, very well. And the same goes for Van Zandt. Townes Van Zandt can paint a picture very, very well. Mm-hmm. Any songwriter, singer-songwriter worth their weight in salt can paint you that picture. Come on. Let's take, for example, John Mellencamp. Yeah. One of the kings of fucking Americana. Come on.
He's not a king of Americana.
Dude, he is definitely the forefront of fucking farmer fucking.
He had country. 2 albums. He is not a fucking king of shit.
Think about it, okay? Let's think about the lyrics, okay?
Uh-huh.
And you know them as well as I do.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no man, or there's no girls. I'm sitting in the kitchen, picking up evening slide.
Uh-huh.
And look at it, dog. Said, I remember when you can start a flower. You can see that, dude. And these people are able to do that. Any singer-songwriter worth their weight in salt can paint the picture, and you can visually see it in your head.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay. Now let's do Metallica. Exit light. Where are we exiting from? And tonight.
But then you got Leper Messiah. Come on.
Okay. So don't get me wrong. They're great singer-songwriters, but there are times when people write songs and the lyrical content doesn't always make the best of sense. Okay. You can't paint a picture if the picture isn't there being expressed in words for you to understand and paint.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, I'm really having a hard time whether or not I'm going to give you this album for next week that we just discussed earlier, dude, because it's kind of over the top, and I don't want us taken off the airwaves.
We're not getting taken off the airwaves. We're not playing anything.
It's all good.
Cool.
All right. My album rating there was solid 8.25 on the John Prine. Thank you. Bruce, we've reached that time of the evening.
Yes. What are we doing? I am giving you...
You giving me an album?
I am giving you an album. I told you I was going to give you this one album, but I changed my mind. Because
here we go with the change up in the middle of the game.
I know it. Because I like fucking with you.
Do whatever we want over here, obviously.
Hey, listen.
No, you listen. I'm kind of a big deal. Of your shenanigans.
I am just telling you, you are getting the new album from the Dictators. You're getting a fucking album.
I look forward to this.
So
Wes turned us on to that first album.
And now we're getting the latest album. So fucking good.
I've been hooked. What's the name of the albums?
It's self-titled. It's The Dictators.
What was the name of the first album?
It was. I'll tell you. But it was not called The Dictators.
Send me a picture of the cover of this so I make sure I'm listening to the right thing.
Okay. The first album was called Go Girl Crazy.
Go Girl Crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. And give me 1 second here. Give me a second here. Let me find you something today.
I got something to say.
No, it won't be that. I always forget what I've given you. That's what I'm getting to the point of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting close. Dun, 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 dun.
There, I just sent you the whole link
I
for the
appreciate
entire
it,
album.
sir. And I am going to give you okay. Do I no longer own it, or did I not get it?
Oh, wow.
I think Orange Goblin just released a new album, and I'm pretty sure I listened to it, but why ain't it on my phone? I don't like that. Did I ever give you Shrine Builder?
No.
All right. I'm going to give you Shrine Builder. Shrine Builder.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So a little history on this album before you get it real quick. This is a
Mhm.
super group. It consists of Al Cisneros from Sleep, Wino from St. Vitus and The Obsessed.
Mhm.
I think the singer guitar player from Neurosis at the time. He's recently come under some fire. And Dale Crover from the Melvins.
There you go.
So this thing was a phenomenal album, in my opinion. They only did the one album. They'll probably never do another album together again. And I thought that, wow, how did this miss my radar? And
This came out in 2009, it looks like. So cool.
yeah, it is a phenomenal, phenomenal album. I hope that you enjoy it. With that being said, folks, we're going to wrap up this show.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't show up looking in my Sunday's best. It's been a bit of a day, and I got a lot more to do this evening. So get this edited up for you folks. Bruce, got anything to let
Yes.
us know?
I do. Obviously, before I get into my final little thought here, make sure that you share this with all of your friends and people you hate too. Just share it. Get the word out. We're doing some cool things here. And the only way that we're going to continue to be able to do cooler things is if we grow the audience. So, any help that any of you guys can give us some ratings, share the show, give
Like,
us some
comment,
feedback.
subscribe,
Absolutely. All that cool stuff. We would greatly appreciate it.
and we open all feedback.
That's right.
We are open to all feedback. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
We want to hear what albums you want us to review.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to get the opportunity to review them. Other than that, Bruce, I think we should wrap this up and get the heck on out of here and see each other next week.
All right.
You got
Sounds
your work
good
cut
to me.
out for you. I got mine cut out for me.
Let's do it.
Dictators, Shrine Builder, next week.
Dictator.
Same Sonic time,
Same
Sonic
Sonic channel.
Peace.
So,